Okay, Trumpet of Jubilee Ministries, your proactive parenting, and we promised you last go around that we would talk some more about manipulation because that's something that we feel like is rampant in child training these days. Probably Dr. Spock or some other idiot came up with that whole deal. But anyway, so what do we do to manipulate a child or train them to
Well,
manipulate us?
well, the first one, manipulate a child. One of the ones I've seen is child's being noisy and more rambunctious than is good for the situation. You're at a restaurant maybe or something. So mama pulls out a little set of keys and starts jangling it in front of the kid and distracting them. Now that doesn't seem so bad. It's pretty innocuous. But you're manipulating them rather than training them. No, this setting is you need to be quiet.
Okay, so we offer them an alternative instead of dealing with the behavior or the problem at hand.
Exactly.
I'm thinking, are we hungry? We keep going back to mealtime scenarios here. But anyway, the idea that little Johnny doesn't, we may have touched on this, doesn't want to eat whatever, is for supper. So he throws his fit, and then we tell him, you can have some ice cream if you'll just do what we want you to do. He soon learns he doesn't really have to do anything because of just obedience. He doesn't have to do anything because he honors his father and mother, but he can make a deal. So the manipulation is the deal making. Manipulation by definition is you get somebody to do something that they didn't really intend to do. So a parent manipulating around getting a meal eaten by some coercion technique other than demanding obedience is manipulation. At least.
And you did say coercion. Some people want to act like they're morally superior because, well, we never touch our child. But you coerced them just as much. And actually, I think ultimately in their life, a little spanking that gets their attention is a lot less damaging to their life than coercion through manipulation. You've really taught them a very self-centered way of doing things. And they'll be unhappy in life being that self-centered.
Okay, when they cease to be that cute anymore, I'm thinking when they're little bitty and they, know how to get what they want from you because they're adorable, you shouldn't let them do it just because they're adorable to begin with, because that sets a rotten precedent, particularly if later on, if it's a little girl and we think, when she was 2, she was absolutely adorable, and just that look in her eye, she could get you to give her ice cream or candy or anything else you wanted. But when she's 12 or 13 and she no longer wants ice cream or candies, and she decides that she can work somebody with her eyes and her smile and stuff like that to manipulate them to get what she wants, now you're on pretty dangerous territory.
Yeah. And I know, like with my daughter, she was probably not even 2 when she learned she could bat her eyes at me and get my attention. And I had to consciously go, yeah, you're cute, I'm pleased with you, but you're not going to get your way because of that.
And same way, if we're making deals, if you will clean up your room, then we can go do something fun. I'm not against going and doing something fun, but it's not as a payment for obedience. Anytime we're having to pay to get obedience, somebody's manipulating something, and I think the parent's the one getting manipulated, because I want to demand obedience and train obedience from a heart that desires to do the right thing or please the parent or honor the parent or any of the above. But I don't want to train obedience as a deal that I made. Ever.
Right. And this gets back to some of that, what we were talking about last time about habits. For instance, in this same realm, I had a habit with my daughter. I was building the house, my house, and I wanted her to be a part of that process. And so she would help me. We wouldn't go very long, maybe 20 minutes. But the way I presented it was work before play. And it wasn't making a deal, it was more of a work ethic habit of you can play when the work is done. And we made that a habit. And to this day, I mean, she's gotten several jobs that her bosses commented we were reluctant to hire somebody your age because we've had such bad results out of bad work ethic. And you've impressed us so much. What can, you know, they didn't quite say it this way, but it's like, how much do we have to pay you to keep you?
Wow. So obviously, training somebody to do something out of the abundance of their heart because they desire to do the right thing is a whole lot better plan than manipulating them, because then they're wanting to strike a bargain, which usually the bargain would be, how little work can I do and still get that paycheck?